Children have a doorway into the world of make-believe that we adults are far too adult and grown up to harness such magic. But we can remember the joys of our childhood, the games we played, either in the bush, in the cities, the playground, and at home. In writing A Hop, a Skip and a Jump, I wanted to revisit some of the very special aspects of Australian childhood amusements. It was a fun journey, and the book, intended for adults, reminds Australians of their own youth and play. Hopefully, there's still a little bit of magic left for us all. I also wanted to pose some questions. About 30,000 convicts aged under 20 were transported to Australia. We don't know the exact number of child convicts under 15, but it would have been in the thousands. And we know there was a 9-year-old boy on the first fleet, and these child convicts were treated the same as adult convicts. My question is, did these poor things have time to think about play? Did they find their own keys to the world of make-believe just to survive? Did they invent games? One hopes so. We also know that there were many thousands and hundreds of thousands of children came out as free settler families, and later on children came out unassisted as part of programs to settle them. These programs saw children on board ships for many months, and they must have been like caged animals. It's hard to keep kids entertained on board ships. Certainly the early settler ships were very cramped. There wouldn't have been a lot of space. But kids, being inventive and necessity, the mother of invention, would have had some chalk. They would have sketched some hopscotch diagrams on the deck. They would have found places for hide and seek. If it was raining or windy, they'd probably get into a corner and play things like I Spy with My Little Eye. Many of the games we play came from the Anglo-Celtic tradition. Nowadays, not so much maybe, but we certainly reinvented many of the old games. I also wanted to look at Indigenous play. What did the kids in the traditional camps play? We know that the campfire was central to entertainment, and kids would do everything, but including dances or jumping over the fire as part of their entertainment. We know that they had very involved string games, made their own string, and some of the Aboriginal string games are really quite extraordinary. And they had games to sharpen their skills as hunter-gatherers. And one of these games I found was that the kids would sit round an anthill, and they'd all nominate their own ant, and they would follow the journey of that ant. Fascinating stuff. But yes, they later on made their own toys and had quite an inventory of play. Looking at very young kids and nursery rhymes and lullabies, I wanted to identify if there were some that were very Australian. And in fact, in the 1880s onwards, there was a bit of a campaign to find nursery rhymes and lullabies that had a particular Australian theme. Some of them were terrific. I don't think many of them got to the widespread distribution of Marion Sinclair's Kookaburra Up an Old Gum Tree, but they were certainly existing. So that was a fascinating thing to see how some of the Anglo-Celtic ones were Australianised. It's also said that girls will be girls and boys will be boys, but I don't think this really stands in our more sexually aware world of the 21st century, unless you're living in Trumpian America. There are, of course, some aspects at play, particularly appealing to, if you want to put sex into a box, but both girls and boys play marbles, they play elastics, hopscotch, and so forth. Even playing with dolls or making dolls. I've got a whole section about the dolls that were made during the hard times, the lean times, or the more inventive times. Dolls made out of potatoes, the Spud family, or corks, where you put legs on corks and painted them and so forth. Dolls made out of pipe cleaners were popular, and clothing pegs, wooden clothing pegs. Well, they've probably gone the way of the clothesline, but that was another area of activity for kids, swinging like Superman or Supergirl on the clothesline. What else did we do? Well, we had knitting Nancy's. Knitting Nancy's for French knitting, and you'd make endless sort of bits of intertwined string or thread, and I'm not sure what you did with it when you got it, but it was popular. And whether in the bush or the city, children made their own fun, often inventing elaborate games, be it in a cubby house, cowboys and Indians in a tent, the backyard shed, or in a cosy corner of the playground. Rules were made, names were given, games were given names, and often, as I said, necessity was the mother of invention. On rainy days, old games were usually called upon, board games were called upon. We had some very Australian ones, games about droving or yachting around Australia, or sort of working on the land. School playgrounds, they were always a hive of activity. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Marbles, elastics, ball throwing, bouncing, skipping ropes, hand clapping, often with naughty rhymes with them.
Oh, I'm sexy, I'm cute, I'm popular to boot. I'm itchy, great hair, the boys all like to stare. I'm pretty, I'm cool, I dominate the school. Who am I? Guess, guys wanna touch my chest. Yay! Ooh, I lost my bra. I left it in my boyfriend's car. Why did you leave him there? 'Cause I needed some fresh air. Boys are top rotten, made out of cotton. Girls are sexy, made out of Pepsi. Girls go to Mars to get more bras. Boys go to Jupiter to get more stupider.
Then there's the rhymes that kids recite at special events, like the last day of term, or, the no more teachers' dirty looks, blah, blah, blah. War cries was another part of developing team spirit at schools. I've done a definitive list of war cries from various Australian schools. Some of them are the sanctioned versions, others are not. There's also lots of rhymes in the book, rhymes about Fatty and Skinny and Popeye the Sailor Man, and how they've been replaced by rhymes about gummy bears and even fast food. One I heard was, Colonel Sanders came to town riding on a chicken, stuck his finger up its bum and said it's finger lickin'. You can say a lot in a few words if you're a kid. Children's folklore is alive and kicking. Relive your youth in this book. There's 498 pages, lots of illustrations, lots of memories, and you can only buy copies from me by mail order because I only printed a limited number. It's $35.95, and if you contact me, I'll give you a special deal on the postage as well.